The vicarious humanity of Christ. Once we consider the classical Christian understanding of the person of Christ, including both human and divine natures, we have to consider some of the implications that flow from this idea. Our information regarding how the human nature of Christ impacts the entirety of the triune God is relatively limited. We know that it, at least in a certain sense, shows that there is some kind of change in God, as it is now eternally bound up with the humanity in a way that was not the case before the incarnation took place. We know that taking on human flesh did not cause God to be something other than God is in God's own life, and yet understanding that one of the divine persons is forever hypostatically united to finite human flesh is a significant reality that we cannot approach except on our knees in humble worship and adoration. However, the implications that the hypostatic union has for our humanity are vast and all-important for our salvation. We must take the human side of the divine-human union in Christ seriously because it provides us with the data from which we understand how the gospel to be, as the Creed says, for us and our salvation. When we articulate how the objective act of God is worked out in our subjective existence, we move into the area of soteriology, or our understanding of salvation. However, for the moment we are concerned not so much with how we become participants in the vicarious humanity of Christ, but rather the objective implications of this that were forged throughout the entire earthly and historical life of Christ. There has been a tendency in much of Western Christianity to imagine that Christ's humanity is only instrumental, that is, it only exists to achieve a higher end. This view could more or less be summarized in this way. God needed to provide a perfect human sacrifice to pay the price demanded by our sin. Christ's humanity is necessary to achieve this end, but does not serve any other purpose. This portrays Christ's death as merely a penal sacrifice. This motif is indeed present in the New Testament, but this is not the only one. One of the other motifs particularly emphasized in Eastern theology, especially the Eastern patristic writers of the first millennium, is that of substitution. This idea emphasizes the fact that God taking our broken and diseased humanity upon himself is intrinsically salvific. We will consider the penal aspect of death of Christ in its place, but we will focus on how the entirety of Christ's life, from birth through death to resurrection and ascension, shape our understanding of the work of God, and how our humanity is uplifted and healed in Christ. When we refer to Christ's vicarious humanity, we are referring to the idea that Christ has truly entered into our humanity and fulfilled our human response to God on our behalf and in our place. One might even say that when we get right down to it, the vicarious humanity of Christ is the gospel, and it is salvation. In every aspect of human life where we continually fail to respond to God appropriately, God takes our broken humanity and bends it back into alignment with God's will. We need not only a God who dies for us, but one who lives for us. As we will see below, it was a messy process and one that should not be taken lightly. As we consider the entirety of what God has done in our humanity, we will consider key moments and concepts in the life of Christ and how they impact our understanding of Christ's vicarious humanity.